During long journeys into the wild, it's very handy to carry some sort of basic repair kit with you so that you can maintain and repair essential items of clothing, footwear, and gear while you're on the move. Because if you look after your gear, it will look after you. In this video, I want to share two of my travel repair kits. One is from my 17th century Highlander experimental living, and the other is a handy 21st century kit I keep in my rucksack while I'm travelling. So, stay tuned. Hi folks, Tom from Fandabby and Resilient Route Survival School, thanks for tuning in. So at the start of every month I set 3 different learning prompts for the members of my survival school, and then at the end of the month we all jump on a live call and we share what we've made, what we've learned and what adventures we've been on. Now, one of the learning prompts I call a practice from home. It's usually some sort of practical skill-based learning prompt, and I try to make them aligned with the seasons. This is sort of encourage people to step out of the industrial mindset that we live in the modern world and try to tune in to the rhythms of the seasons that you live by. Essentially, how our ancestors, how we've been living through all time up till relatively recently. So last month's learning prompt, it was January, coldest month of the year. So the learning prompt was to do with keeping warm. And the specific prompt was make some sort of sit or sleeping mat out of natural materials. So that's why last month's video here on the channel, I was sharing how I made a really simple loom for making grass mats, which you can use for shelter and for sleeping on and many, many uses. This month, it's February. We've just passed the Celtic celebration of Imbolc, which translates as in the belly. It's the beginning of the pregnancy of spring, you could say. Spring isn't quite here. It's still really cold and dead, but it's just starting to wake up. So, what were our ancestors doing? Still not quite warm enough, not quite long enough days to really be getting out there and being really active, but we are preparing for spring. We are preparing for the busyness of the spring and summer season. So, this is why this month's learning prompt is make some sort of wilderness repair kit, either modern or historical, with the idea that we're tuning into this mentality of looking after our gear, getting ready for the coming of spring. But of course, these kits are something that you can carry with you all year round. So let's first look at the historical repair kit. So I made this. I put this together as part of my 17th century Highlander living experiment, specifically in preparation for an expedition I did a few years ago where I was wearing and using 100% 17th century equipment. Now, preparing for that expedition, trying to put myself in the mindset of someone traveling in these lands 300 years ago. What equipment is most important to me? What is going to be most annoying if it does break? And what some really basic things can I carry so that I can at least hold it together long enough for me to get to a destination and hopefully get something replaced or repaired more permanently. So things I was thinking were going to break or be really annoying to break would be things like my shoes, shoe laces, straps for your rucksacks and things like that. Sure, you know, if you get a hole in your clothing, as long as it's not huge, you know, it's not really that much of an inconvenience, but a broken backpack strap, broken shoelace, that's really annoying. That's really going to slow you down. Also thinking things like all the bottles I was carrying water and whiskey in, they were just simple leather and beeswax water bottles. They can end up leaking, so I was thinking about that as well. So, repairing clothing, repairing shoes, and things like that. So, especially for the shoes, I was carrying extra bits of leather. I was carrying some leather strips, which I could use to replace any broken shoelaces. I actually just carried an extra pair of moccasin shoes, which I'm pretty sure people would have done if you had to walk any distance back in the day. But when it comes to the other repair kit, you know, in history they didn't have the luxury of going to a shop and, you know, buying duct tapes, electrical tapes, glues and stuff ready to go. you would either have to make some stuff prior to your journey, or in some of these examples, I'm just carrying some of the raw materials with me, which then gives me a bit of flexibility depending on what I need to repair, whether it's a water bottle, or it's my shoes, or it's my clothing. I at least have some of the raw materials to help me out. So let's have a closer look. So in that little bag, I've got a few different things to help me repair and maintain kit. First thing is a little glue stick of pine resin glue. You see, I don't have that much left since my last repair job, but all that is a little bit of prepared pine pitch glue, which I have shown in a previous video making a 17th century whiskey flask. This is pine resin, charcoal, beeswax, and a little bit of plant fiber. And what you can do, you can pre-make that, let it harden on a stick, and then essentially you've got a hot glue ready to go. So if I need to repair any leaks in bottles, in flasks, even, repairing other items of kit, if you want to fill a hole in something, then this is essentially nature's hot glue. Just heat that up and repair whatever you need to repair. Next thing, I've just got a little bit of wool fabric that has got different needles in it. So needles, depending what time period of history we're looking at, often made of bone, simple iron, things like that. Here I have one made from a chicken bone. This was actually made by a follower of the channel, sent me a few different needles. So that's a beautiful little needle. That one's quite good for repairing wool, things that have already got quite a big weave. It's quite a thick needle, that is. I also have a really thick one, which is pretty brutal for doing clothing, but it's pretty handy. I've kind of used this more as an awl if I need to puncture holes to make shoes or something like that. That's quite handy. Other thing I have here, which is a little bit special, is a shark's tooth. I actually found this on a beach in Australia, but it's ended up in my historical kit. And it's quite handy to use as a pin for pinning together any items of clothing or something that you are repairing. Those are the needles. Now we're thinking about threads. All this is just nettle fiber. I've got a past video showing you how to make nettle cordage, specifically a nettle fishing kit. But this is some of the fibers still from that video I did a few years ago. What's quite handy about just having the fibers is that you can pick what thickness of thread you want. So I can sort through that, and if I want something really fine, then I can pick that out, or I can get a thicker bit and process it and make it thinner. Or if I wanted to make a thicker bit of cordage, like this nettle string here, then of course I can just twist that into the cordage that I need. So just handling the raw fiber, if it's flax or nettle, hemp, whatever, having the raw fiber can give you a bit of diversity, what sort of size of thread you want. So nettle fiber, nettle cordage. This is waxed linen thread. This is really good for repairing leather work, pouches, repairing my rucksack. And then what I have here is some handy raw materials. So I've got a little lump of beeswax and a little lump of pine resin. So I can either use these, by themselves. Beeswax is fantastic for waterproofing things. I could also make a candle or something like that. Mainly I'm using that to waterproof straps. Also waterproof cord, especially if that cord, say if you're using it for fishing or something, it's going to be getting wet a lot. it's handy to have a bit of beeswax to waterproof it. And then the pine resin, essentially I've got, you know, 2 ingredients for the pine pitch glue that I'm carried with me, you know, already. So it means if I need to make some pine pitch glue, I've already got some of the raw materials. And finally, it's just a wee knife. Now, although I carry other knives with me, I think this was my dad's knife. It's just a lovely little small craft knife. I found this is handy again for making shoes. You want to, when I was weaving the strips of leather for the laces, it's kind of hard. You want to puncture a hole but not make the hole too big. So it's handy just having a knife the same diameter, the same width that you want the holes for your laces to be. So that's the basic historical repair kit I was carrying. Now let's look at my version of the 21st century kit. So now on to my 21st century repair kit. Now I made this up a number of years ago, just getting ready to go travelling. In my early 20s, I was on the road for nearly 2 years, and this lived in my backpack and just helped me repair everything I needed when I was travelling. Now, it essentially evolved by combining lots of useful repair things into one little small package. So, it is actually a paracetamol tub. There's a little plastic tub with a lid, with a little child sort of safety lock. Yeah, handy little thing that some paracetamol tablets came in. Inside, number of needles and threads and stuff, which I'll show you in a second. But what's handy is having this solid, you know, cylinder to have your kit. You can use it to wrap around different repair tapes. Now, duct tape is probably one of the best inventions humans have ever created. I really like the Gorilla brand. So often, you know, I've got rolls of this duct tape in my kit anyway, duct tape or electrical tape. But, you know, pretty big and heavy. You might only really take that with you if you know you're definitely going to need a lot of it. But what I've done to save weight is just to wrap a bunch of tape around this pot. So on this side we have duct tape, here we have electrical tape. Sometimes I think electrical tape just works better. And then in the middle, what I have here is bicycle inner tube. This is again one of the most useful things you can carry. You can just use this to fix so many different stuff. You're great for fixing leaks, using as elastic bands for holding together packets of food or tins. You use them to keep tins closed. Also quite good fire extenders. Take a while to get lit, but when they're lit, they burn hot. So again, just something really simple. Just cut off a few slices of bicycle rubber, and that can just live on there if I ever need to use it. So inside the pot, I've got a few different things. Got some safety pins, which are fantastic for just making really fast repairs. Just holding something together for a short period of time, but then of course also for holding together anything that you're sewing. Various needles, some thin ones for repairing, you know, cotton and linen shirts. I've got some thicker, heavier duty ones, which you can use to do some fine leather work and stuff like that. Of course, we've got threads. You got your standard cotton threads for fixing holes in clothing and putting on buttons. I usually have some buttons in here, but I've used them all up, so that's part of my learning prompt. I need to add more buttons to this kit. Other heavier duty threads, again, some wax linen for repairing leather work, backpacks. This is just some tar line, a little bit thick for lots of stuff, but again, handy. Good thing about this is that you can melt it. So you can do a really tight bind on something and then just melt the ends, melt the knot a little bit, and it all just cinches together and sticks, and that's not going to come undone. Final handy thing is some tooth floss. Of course, you could use it to floss your teeth, but I found that this is fantastic for heavy duty repairs, specifically repairing backpacks. When I was backpacking around New Zealand, I had a couple holes appear in my Bergen rucksack, and this worked really well. It was just a bit of an improvise at the time, but it worked really well to do a strong stitch at the bottom of my rucksack, something that I really didn't want to wear and fall apart. And still, that was probably nearly 10 years ago, that backpack repair has not come undone. So, tooth floss, multifunctional, makes for excellent, strong thread for repairing backpacks. So I hope you enjoyed this video, folks, on repair kits, both past and present. If you want to come join the learning journey, get access to over 100 lessons and connect with a tribe of like-minded people, then check out my survival school, Resilient Roots. I'll put a link below. We're also going to do a bunch of in-person day courses and weekend courses in my woodland this year. It's open to non-members, so sign up to the email list to get notified when we're ready to take bookings. But if you're a member of the school, you get a fairly significant subsidised rate on those courses. Then at the end of the year, we're doing a members-only gathering, 5 days of living in the woods, learning how our ancestors survived, how we can survive and thrive in the woodland in the present day. And last year one was really good fun, so hopefully see some of your folks there. Have a good February, and I'll see you in another video shortly. Cheers.